On the night of June 21st, 2021, a freight truck driver named Bayu Setiawan was traveling from Bandung to Tasikmalaya. Because of heavy traffic along the main Nagreg route, he decided to take an older alternative, the Cikareo Panjalu Road, a winding mountain path rarely used since a new tollway opened a few years earlier. The clock on the dashboard showed 12:47 a.m. A thin mist began to roll down the slopes, veiling the road ahead until visibility shrank to only a few meters. Bayu slowed the truck, switched on his high beams, and turned up his small dashboard radio. All he heard was static. No stations, no music, just the sound of white noise hissing through the night. After passing the third curve beyond a small bridge, Bayu saw a warm orange glow flickering in the distance. At first, he thought it was a house light, but as he drew nearer, he could make out the shape of a small roadside restaurant with a sign that read Warung Makan Busari. The neon sign buzzed weakly, its letters blinking in and out. In front of it stood several cars parked nicely in a row. Bayu frowned. He'd traveled this route many times in the past, back when it was still active, and he had never once seen a restaurant in this isolated stretch of forest. His stomach growled, his throat felt dry. It was past midnight. He decided to stop. When he turned off the engine, silence immediately filled the air, a heavy, unnatural stillness, broken only by the faint trickle of water from a roadside ditch and the droning of distant insects. He stepped down from the truck, gently shut the door, and walked toward the porch of the restaurant. Through the window, he could see people sitting quietly at their tables, eating, chatting, even laughing softly. Behind the cashier's counter, an older woman with a batik apron was pouring coffee. There was something oddly comforting about the scene. The yellow light, the calm voices, the smell of warm food. Bayu pushed open the door, and a small bell above it rang. Tring! The woman turned toward him with a kind smile. "Hungry, son? I still have oxtail soup and fried rice." Bayu smiled in relief. "Perfect, ma'am. I thought there weren't any places open around here anymore." "Hee, we stay open till morning, son. The road may be quiet, but truckers still pass by sometimes." He sat at a table near the window. The walls were covered with old photographs, pictures of buses, trucks, and smiling customers posing beside the woman in the apron. One of the photos caught his attention. In the lower corner, a faded date read 2002. Every photo looked aged and yellowed, as if untouched for decades. When the oxtail soup arrived, steam rose from the bowl in fragrant curls. The smell was intoxicating, rich, savory, and strangely nostalgic. Bayu ate greedily. The flavor was perfect, too perfect, like a home-cooked meal from a memory long forgotten. When he finished, he went to pay. The woman smiled again. 15,000, son." Bayu handed her a 20,000 bill. "Keep the change, ma'am." "Thank you, son. Drive safely. The fog can get thick up here." Bayu nodded, stepped back into the cool night, and started his truck. As he glanced in the mirror, he saw the restaurant still glowing warmly behind him, the same people sitting in the same places, unmoving. He smiled faintly and drove off. Then the radio came alive again. Only this time, the static changed. A woman's whisper slipped through the noise. "Come again, son. We'll be waiting." Bayu quickly turned down the volume, brushing it off as interference. He didn't realize it wasn't. The next morning, while delivering a load to Tasik,
Bayu told his fellow drivers at the parking lot. But when he mentioned Bu Sari's food stall on the Chicareo route, his friend, Mr. Didin, suddenly looked at him with a serious expression. "What stall?" "Bu Sari's food stall, at the third corner, near the small bridge." "Bayu, that stall burned down in 2002, you know. The owner's mother died along with all her customers. The fire broke out in the middle of the night." Bayu could only stare blankly. He was sure he'd eaten there the night before. He'd seen people, he'd talked, he'd paid. But that night, it turned out, the place hadn't existed for 19 years.
In the following days, Bayu couldn't shake the memory of that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the woman's face, her batik apron, her gentle smile, and her eyes that seemed to hold something unspoken. On June 25, 2021, he decided to go back. He brought along Didin, a fellow driver, and 2 other friends. They carried flashlights, a camera, and their phones to record the place, just to prove whether that restaurant truly existed or not. The mountain road was eerily silent that night. No streetlights, only distant flashes of lightning across the dark ridges. After an hour of climbing, they reached the small bridge Bayu remembered. He pointed ahead. "There, Dee. The Warung was right there, after that curve." But when their flashlights swept across the spot, all they saw were charred ruins, collapsed concrete, rusted roofing sheets, and a wooden sign barely standing, its letters almost erased by time. If you looked closely, you could still faintly read, "Warung Makan Bu Sari." Didin swallowed hard. "Bayu, this place has been burned down for years. Look, the soot's still on the bricks." "But I swear, Dee, I saw the lights. I ate there. There were people inside." Didin aimed his flashlight at the ground. Amid the debris, he spotted fragments of a broken ceramic bowl, half buried in dirt. Its pattern was exactly the same as the one Bayu had eaten from that night. One side was blackened with hardened soot. "Bayu," Didin said, his voice trembling. "This place burned down in 2002. I used to stop here too. That night, the fire started after midnight. Everyone inside died before they could escape." A cold wind swept through the ruins. Somewhere among the rubble came the faint clink of metal, spoon against plate. Didin froze. He turned off his flashlight. From the darkness within the remains of the restaurant, a soft voice drifted out. "Eat first, son. You'll get hungry on the road." Bayu's heart stopped. He stumbled backward as the light flickered back on, but there was no one there. Only the creeping fog and the lingering scent of burnt smoke that had no right to still exist after 19 years.
The next day, Bayu reviewed the video he'd taken at the site. At first, everything looked normal. They were talking, laughing nervously. Then, as the camera panned over the ruins, a deep, low hum filled the audio, like someone breathing right beside the microphone. At 1 minute and 47 seconds, a woman's voice spoke clearly. "The oxtail soup was good, wasn't it, son?" Bayu's hands went cold. He dropped the phone. It was her voice, the same gentle tone from that night. But it didn't sound distant. It came from inside the recording itself. When he tried to pause the video, the screen froze. The final frame showed him sitting inside a bright, bustling restaurant, alive and intact, with customers and warm lighting. But that was impossible. When he recorded it, the place had been nothing but ashes. He called Didin over. Yet when they replayed the same file, the video had changed. Now it was only a black screen, accompanied by a low, heavy laughter.
that didn't sound human. "Delete it, Bayu," Didin urged. "Don't keep it. Places like that, some things never moved on." But Bayu couldn't. He felt as though he had left something or someone behind. Every night, his dreams took him back to that table, Busari smiling, as the walls slowly caught fire around them, while everyone kept eating, smiling, unbothered by the rising flames.
Bayu began searching online for old news about the fire. Eventually, he found a newspaper article dated July 17, 2002. Mysterious fire destroys Warung Busari, 5 dead, 2 missing. The report said the blaze began around 12:45 a.m., that witnesses saw flames suddenly erupt from the kitchen without a clear cause. Firefighters found 5 charred bodies, but 2 customers were never recovered. The names listed were Sari, Tono, Suyatno, Denny, and Rudy. Missing persons, Budi Setiawan, Bayu Fadila. Bayu froze. His own name, Bayu, was there, even though in 2002 he had been a 10-year-old boy living far away. Coincidence? Or something else entirely? That night, strange things began happening in his home. He heard plates clinking in the kitchen, footsteps pacing slowly in the hallway, and the unmistakable smell of oxtail broth drifting from nowhere. When he finally went to check, the kitchen was spotless, except for one old bowl sitting on the table, filled with hot soup that was still steaming. 3 nights later, Bayu drove back to Chicareo, alone. He didn't know what he was looking for, only that he had to see it one last time. He brought a camera and a headlamp. The road was silent, buried under thick fog. Not a single car passed. When he reached the small bridge, the air grew colder. His breath turned white. And from beyond the fog, he saw it again, that faint yellow glow. The restaurant stood there once more, whole and bright, just as he'd seen it the first night. The neon sign swung gently, and the tiny bell chimed. Bayu stopped. His heart pounded painfully, but his legs moved on their own. As he stepped closer, the door opened by itself. Inside, everything was exactly as before. The warm lights, the calm chatter, Busari smiling behind the counter. But now the faces of the diners were pale, their eyes blank, and from their faint smiles leaked thin streams of mist like breath in winter. "It's been a while, son. Same order as before?" Bayu tried to speak. "Ma'am, what year is it?" "Still 2002, son. Haven't you slept? Eat first before it gets cold." The diners all turned toward him at once, their expressions frozen and lifeless. From the kitchen came the hiss of boiling oil, followed by the sickly sweet smell of burning flesh. It wasn't food this time. Bayu stumbled back. Through the window, he saw something that made his blood run cold. Himself sitting at another table, eating contentedly, smiling. Busari stepped forward, her voice trembling like an echo from far away. "You've finally come back, son. You didn't make it home that night, but we kept this place open for those who lost their way." The walls began to crack, flames licking out from every corner. The diners sat still, their bodies melting like wax. Bayu screamed and bolted for the door, but when he burst outside, there was nothing. Only darkness, the cold night, and the fading scent of smoke.
2 days later, a truck was found abandoned by the Chicareo roadside near the same small bridge. The engine was still warm, but the driver was gone. Inside the cabin, police found a broken ceramic bowl and a half-burned 20,000 rupiah bill. On the dashboard lay a handwritten note. Warung Bu Sari is still open. They're hungry. They need someone to eat with. The investigation found no signs of struggle, no footprints, no blood. Bayou's phone was recovered from the seat, containing a single voice recording, 47 seconds long. It was a woman's voice. "Thank you for coming back, son. Don't worry, this Warung never really closes."
After the incident, authorities installed warning signs along the Chiclayo route. The sign reads in bold red letters, "Do not stop between KM 23 and KM 25, between 00 and 03. Still, some truckers claim to see a faint, warm light glowing from the third curve. Some even swear they can smell oxtail soup drifting through the fog. And strangely, every driver who admits to stopping there says they received the same thing, a faded handwritten note that reads, "Warung Makan Bu Sari. Thank you for stopping by." Since then, the roadside restaurant that closed in 2002 has become a whispered legend among drivers across West Java. They say the warung remains open, not for the living, but for those who never reached their destination. So if one misty night you drive through the silent hills of Chiclayo and smell the faint aroma of soup from somewhere within the fog, don't stop, don't look back, because maybe, just maybe, someone is already preparing a seat for you at a table that hasn't been filled yet.